Hi, this is John Kuntz, and welcome to this installment of From Empathy to Transformation. This is a mini-series, if you will, based on the Disruptor podcast, where we focus on human-centric design for entrepreneurs and startup. And today, we're going to be talking about design thinking for better market fit. The concept is pretty simple, and it's been around for a while, but we're going to do something and treat it a little differently. But basically, design thinking uses what they sometimes call the double diamond approach, which is a series of steps or processes that allow you to start with something, a problem, let's say, and diverge through research, converge through better understanding of needs to define the specific needs, then diverging through ideation, idea generation, and then converging through prioritization and quickly developing prototypes and MVPs and such things. The thing that we've done differently here, as we are taking this from what is typically used in a product management world or an engineering or some sort of a software developer's world, and we're taking it out of that and we're moving it over to what I call the front of the business, which is the sales and the customer and that kind of thing, instead of being the back office business. So we're going to use this concept, and we're going to use it so that you, as a founder, entrepreneur, or your startup, can really determine and use it to develop a product market fit strategy, for lack of a better word. And we start, like I said, with the compelling challenge statement or a problem, right? You should have this, I hope. It's what problem is your product or service trying to solve? It's that simple, right? You're in business. You're creating a solution or something because you perceive that there's a problem and you're trying to solve it. So the first step is to identify the personas that would be in the ecosystem of your world, and start. You only have to start with 2 or 3, and this can grow over time. But start with the personas, identify them, and we're going to ask you during the workshop to come up with a list of these, and we're going to focus on 1 or 2. The personas might be your customers. It might be the people within an organization that are using your product or service, or they might actually be people that are impacted by your product or service. They could even be your customers' customers or your customers' suppliers. So ecosystems can get pretty expansive, and so my recommendation is start small and build it over time. We did this in my firm. We started with 3 personas, and now we've expanded up to close to 15 or 20 as we, drill down, and of course as our product and service expanded its capability and its reach within an organization. The next phase is to map those personas in what we call a stakeholder map. In fact, you can do these at the same time. You can basically build a stakeholder map as you're identifying your personas. But this is really how you discover and document the shared ideas about your key personas and their expectations and their relationships. Next, the most important piece of this is we start to diverge, right? Now we diverge and try to explore the dimensions of our stakeholders through something we call empathy mapping. This is probably the most important step, if you will, of the process. If you learn nothing else during a workshop, you learn how to empathy map, and it'll take you a long way. It's a great, quick way to have a holistic view of the persona, and it forces you to think about more than their role. It forces you to essentially walk in their shoes. And so what is an empathy map, you say? It's really simple. It focuses on 4 elements. It focuses on what the person or the persona says and does. Those are things you can actually observe, right? So I can hear somebody say something, I can watch them do something. And then the other was something that you sort of intuitively pick up. It's sort of what they think and how they feel. And there's no right or wrong place to put this, but if you can sort of get in their head and really, map out what they think, what they say, what they do, and how they feel, you're going to go a long way. Here's an example of an actual empathy map that was created during one of our face-to-face workshops. Today we pretty much do these workshops virtually, but you get the picture, right? You basically, whether it's virtual or physical, you write down, everybody starts writing down what they think the person says, what they do, how they think, and how they feel. It's about that simple. Next, we want to understand the needs, right? So now that we've really sort of, sat in their shoes and walked in their shoes, if you will, the ultimate success of your product or service is hinging on your ability to understand and meet the needs of your stakeholders. And we do this through need statements. Need statements identify and instill the stakeholders what they actually seek. These may or may not have anything to do with what you're selling them, but if you can align to them and help them with their needs, now you've got one more step towards closer or better product market fit. After we've converged on the needs, now we diverge on big picture ideas. We look for broad conceptual ideas that focus on those needs. The crazier the better. You got to look past the obvious answers, right? If you remember back into the swimming in the blue ocean, right? If you're swimming in the red ocean, those are the obvious needs. Those are the feature function needs. That's where everybody's beating each other up on feature function price. You want to get out of that red ocean and into the blue ocean, and the way you do that is you come up with big crazy ideas. You look past those obvious answers and you identify things that will delight your client and provide an unbelievable experience. Now you're saying, oh boy, I can't deliver all that. It's too big, it's too much. And you're absolutely right. So what do you do now? You did converge into prioritization. Start identifying those needs and those ideas through a prioritization exercise where you look at your ability or your feasibility to deliver it and the value that you're going to provide to your customers or to the personas. As you can imagine, things that have high value and you can deliver feasibly are going to be the ones where you're going to focus. That's going to be your MVP. The things that have low value and really you can't do, then you steer clear from them. And then the things in the middle, that we call them big bets, those are going to be the things you're going to work on next. So you start with the things that the high value, high feasibility, move into, high value, medium feasibility, and then you stay away from anything that really isn't going to deliver any value. Once you've done that, now you can start to build your what we call the experience roadmap. So you might purposely deliver your vision while focusing. How do you deliver your vision? But you got to focus on the tactical, essentially. And it really is this is how you do it. It will help you get everything in one place, so that you're looking at the big picture, but focusing on the near term. Another way to look at it in design thinking, they call it the cake experience roadmap, right? You want to focus on cupcakes, right? It's something that doesn't cost a lot of money, cooks fast, ingredients are fairly simple, but it still delivers a tasty experience, right? If you focus on the wedding cake, it takes a long time, it's really expensive, customer may not want to get married to you quite yet, and therefore you have an opportunity to build something basically that nobody wants to buy. And then in the middle is what we call the birthday cake, and that essentially is the stuff that you eventually, that little more commitment, more complex, costs more, takes longer to cook, but still tastes great. So you go through the roadmap becomes your way of determining your product market fit, identifying your MVPs, and pivoting, right? So you cook a bunch of cupcakes, and if one variety is more popular than another, then you focus on that variety and you don't bake the ones that nobody wants. So that's it in a nutshell. Thanks for listening to Design Thinking for Better Market Fit. I'm John Kuntz, the Disruptor, and you've been listening to From Empathy to Transformation. Have a great day.